In a small town nestled deep within the heart of Africa, there was a mysterious river known by all as the River of Money. Legends passed down through generations spoke of its extraordinary powers. Anyone who soaked themselves in its waters with a pure heart would become wealthy beyond measure. However, there was a catch: only those who had gone through rigorous procedures and proven their worth were allowed to approach the sacred river. Samuel, a man with dreams as big as the sky, had heard countless stories of people who visited the river and returned with riches. He was convinced that if he could just reach the river, his life would change forever. But Samuel had a troubled past, marked by mistakes and misdeeds that weighed heavily on his soul. Whenever he tried to follow the path to the river, the messengers guarding the way turned him back, declaring that his heart was not pure enough to enter. For 7 long years, Samuel tried and failed. He watched others return with their fortunes, their lives transformed, while his own life felt like an endless desert, barren and unforgiving. Despite the repeated rejections, Samuel refused to give up. The thought of the river's power consumed him, driving him to try again and again, hoping that one day he would be deemed worthy. Finally, after years of persistence and countless setbacks, Samuel managed to reach the river. Standing before its shimmering waters, he felt a mixture of triumph and frustration. His heart pounded as he looked into the clear, tranquil surface. But before stepping in, he had a question that burned in his mind. "Why have your messengers denied me for so many years?" Samuel asked aloud, his voice trembling with both anger and desperation. The river, however, remained silent. The gentle ripples in the water gave no response, as if it hadn't heard him at all. Disheartened but determined, Samuel decided to take matters into his own hands. If simply soaking in this river has made others wealthy, he thought, then drinking from it must make me wealthier than all of them combined. Without hesitation, Samuel bent down, cupped his hands, and drank deeply from the river's cool water. The taste was unlike anything he had ever experienced, refreshing, pure, and strangely comforting. He then stepped into the river, letting the waters wash over him as he soaked himself completely. Feeling a strange energy coursing through his body, Samuel returned home that evening and fell into a deep sleep. For the first time in years, he dreamed vividly. In his dream, he saw his younger self, full of energy and ambition, but idle, always dreaming, yet never taking action. He saw the opportunities he had let slip away and the mistakes that had held him back. When Samuel woke up, his mind was racing with thoughts. Something felt different, but he couldn't quite explain it. The river had touched him, but had it truly changed his destiny? Samuel sat by his window, staring out at the rising sun. He had drunk the water. He had soaked himself in the river. Now, the question lingered in his heart: what will I do next? Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but Samuel's life did not change. He had expected miracles, perhaps gold to fall from the sky, or opportunities to knock at his door, but none of it happened. Instead, his life grew worse. The little he had began to slip through his fingers. His belongings were sold one by one to buy food, and he often went to bed hungry. Samuel grew bitter and confused. How could the river, known for its power to make others rich, leave him in this state? He had not only soaked himself but also drunk its water, believing it would make him wealthier than anyone else. Yet, here he was, poorer and more miserable than ever. One afternoon, as Samuel sat under the shade of a tree near his home, an old man approached him. The man, with a long grey beard and kind eyes, leaned on a wooden staff. Samuel recognized him as one of the messengers who had guarded the river. "Samuel," the old man said, his voice calm but firm, "you look troubled." Samuel frowned, his frustration bubbling over. "Troubled? I am beyond troubled. I went to the river. I drank its water. I soaked myself in it. But my life has only gotten worse. Why didn't it work for me?" The old man sighed and sat beside him. "The river has no power of its own," he said. Samuel's eyes widened in disbelief. "What are you talking about? Everyone says the river makes people rich." The old man nodded. "Yes, it does, for those who understand its secret. The river is not magic, Samuel. It doesn't hand out riches to anyone who simply touches its waters. Its power lies in what it reveals about you. When you soaked yourself in the river, it showed you your reflection, the truth of your life. Tell me, what did you see? Samuel thought back to the dream he had after visiting the river. He remembered seeing his younger self, idle, full of dreams, but unwilling to act. He had seen the opportunities he had ignored and the mistakes he had made. Slowly, Samuel lowered his head. I saw myself, he whispered. I saw how I've wasted so much time. But I thought the river would fix everything for me. The old man placed a hand on Samuel's shoulder. The river cannot fix what you refuse to change. Those who leave the river with wealth are the ones who take action after seeing their truth. They walk, plan, and build. The river gives them clarity, but the rest is up to them. Samuel felt a deep shame wash over him. He had been waiting for the river to do the work for him, believing it to be a magical solution to his problems. But in truth, he had been avoiding responsibility for his own life. The old man stood, leaning on his staff. It's not too late, Samuel. The river has shown you what you need to do. The question is, will you act on it? Samuel watched as the old man walked away, his words echoing in his mind. For the first time, Samuel realized that wealth wouldn't come from wishing or waiting. It would come from effort, determination, and the willingness to change. As the sun set that evening, Samuel made a decision. If he was ever going to turn his life around, it wouldn't be because of the river's power, it would be because of his own. Samuel's life became a tragic tale in the town. While others who visited the river of money continued to prosper and achieve great things, Samuel sank deeper into despair. He had been shown the truth about his life, but he chose to ignore it, waiting for miracles that would never come. Instead of taking responsibility and putting effort into changing his circumstances, Samuel continued to wallow in self-pity. He blamed the river, the messengers, and even the people around him for his misfortune. Days turned into years, and his dreams, once so vibrant, faded into nothingness. The townsfolk spoke of him often. Samuel had the same opportunity as the rest of us, they would say, but he refused to work for his success. Others who visited the river with open hearts and a willingness to work were blessed beyond measure. They built businesses, families, and legacies, while Samuel's life remained stagnant. As time passed, Samuel grew old and frail. He spent his final days alone, sitting outside his small, crumbling hut, watching the world move on without him. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Samuel closed his eyes for the last time. The town mourned him briefly, but his story became a cautionary tale. Parents told their children about the man who visited the river of money but did nothing with the gift of clarity it gave him. The river continued to bless those who came to it with pure hearts, not because it was magical, but because it revealed the truth. Success comes to those who are willing to put in the effort. The river gave people a chance to see their potential, but it was up to them to make something of it. Samuel's life served as a reminder that no miracle, no magical river, could replace hard work, discipline, and action. While others left legacies behind, Samuel left only a story of wasted opportunities and dreams that never came to life. The river of money remained, flowing as it always had, silently watching as new generations arrived, ready to put in the effort and claim their destinies. Samuel's death marked the end of his tragic tale, but his life became a powerful lesson for the entire town. The river of money was not a source of magic, but a reflection of one's determination, effort, and willingness to change. Those who visited it and prospered were not simply lucky, they were doers, people who took the truth revealed by the river and acted on it with purpose and resolve. Samuel's refusal to change and his reliance on miracles left him with nothing but regret. His story was passed down through generations as a cautionary tale, reminding everyone that opportunities without action lead to failure. The river continued to flow, its waters blessing those who came with pure hearts and a readiness to work hard for their dreams. Over time, the town grew wealthy and prosperous. As the people understood the true lesson of the river, it wasn't the water that created wealth, it was the transformation within each person willing to take control of their own destiny. Samuel's name faded with time, but his story lived on, reminding all who had it that success isn't handed out, it's earned through effort, resilience, and the courage to act. And so, the river of money remained, a silent witness to those brave enough to change their lives and those who let their dreams slip away.